Okay, welcome into Humbabe. This is going to be a special episode where we're going to go over the March Madness tournament and we'll share our brackets and we will tell you every upset guaranteed that will happen, and we will have a guaranteed winner because we're right always, and we will get right into it. So Alex, what you got?
Before I start, y'all thought we were just a baseball podcast? Nah, never. Whenever something like this comes up, something special like March Madness, like we know our shit. Like we're gonna cover it. We're very versatile.
We've been following all season long, placing bets. We're on top of March Madness. We love college basketball. College basketball is better than the NBA. It's a bold take.
100%.
It's better than the NBA. It's one of the best sports in America. So it's tremendous stuff. Very excited about the tournament. And it's amazing when you follow these teams all season long. You know these teams. It's very fun to see the tournament special where the selection show was very fun for me. I'm a little sad Rutgers got left out. I thought that was a team that should have made it. But it's a very, very fun tournament. Very fun tournament. Very happy with how the seedings went. A lot of fun matchups, and we'll get right into it.
Yeah. Speaking of Rutgers, they lost an NIT to Hofstra, first round. Okay. So let's start off with the West region. No, is it the West region?
The South.
The South. Is it the one that Bama's in?
Yeah,
the South region, right?
South.
Okay, so South region. Bama, the number one overall seed, according to the committee. So they're gonna face Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. Wait. Before
you even talk about that, I'm so disappointed that Northwestern State did not beat Corpus Christi in the Southland Championship. Northwestern State has a guy, has Emmanuel Hansel with one arm, has Sharp, just lights out from three. One of the most fun teams I've ever. They chuck threes nonstop. This team is just ridiculously fun to see. They still would have lost, but it would have been a fun matchup. But yeah, I'm a little sad we didn't get to see him on a national stage.
So yeah, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. They beat who they beat? Wait, it happened on Tuesday.
Southeast Missouri.
Like Southeast Missouri State.
Yeah.
Okay. Alabama's gonna win. They're minus 23.5 favorites. They're gonna steamroll. 8 and 9 for this region. Maryland, West Virginia. I got West Virginia. Losing record in the Big 12. But they were really good in quad one games this year. And also Maryland, they only have 2 wins away from their home arena, which both of them were against Minnesota. So I got West Virginia.
Yeah, you met Alabama easy there, round 116. It's not always. We've seen UMBC pulled it off, but it's very rare. And I'm sorry, Corpus Christi doesn't pose a threat to me. Alabama's winning round 1 in the round of 64, and then Big Ten teams historically are very bad in this tournament, in the national tournament. I think we'll see another example here, and West Virginia is going to roll over Maryland.
Okay, we should definitely be faster with these, in my opinion. Okay, so 5-12, San Diego State, Charleston. I know a lot of people are predicting Charleston to be a popular upset pick. I'm going San Diego State. I feel like the Mountain West is a very underrated conference, and they handle that like a boss. So I have them.
I'm going San Diego State too.
Okay. Next team, Virginia, 2018 national champions. Same as always, boring, plays good defense. They're going to beat Furman, in my opinion.
They're not as good offensively this year. I think I might be confusing that, but I actually like Furman. I like Furman as my first upset here. Furman's a team that I think has a lot of energy, and I think Furman is going to upset the 4.
Interesting. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. Next team, Creighton, 6th seed. This is projected to be, beginning of the season, this was projected to be Greg McDermott's best team ever. And they started off 6-0, but ever since they lost Kalkbrenner, their season has been on a slide. But ever since he came back, they've been really good again, and they're very dark horse team to look out for. So I have them beating NC State.
I have them beating NC State too. We'll get into Creighton. It's one of my favorite teams.
Okay. Next, Baylor versus California Santa Barbara. Baylor. I'm going Baylor.
I'm going UC Santa Barbara here. It's my upset. It's a 14 seed. Um,
Based on what?
83% of teams in the first round, 83% of the time, teams that I forget what it is, an under 40 ranked defense, I believe it is. It's something like that. I forget the exact stat. 83% of the time, those teams lose in the first round. They're upset. Baylor fits in that category. Baylor's getting upset. Santa Barbara's an underrated team here.
Okay, next hot take, but no, yours is a hot take. I don't see Baylor losing, but next team, Missouri, Utah State. I got Utah State. 10 seed. They're the favorites. They're gonna win. They're a very underrated team.
They are an underrated team. I have Utah State too. They shoot tremendously from three. It's an all-white starting lineup, and they shoot the ball tremendously well.
It is an all-white starting lineup.
It's the old coach from UMBC.
Yeah, Ryan Odom. Ryan Odom.
And I watched. They're a very fun team to watch. Very high offensive team. This is a sleeper here.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Next team, Arizona, Princeton, Arizona. I'm not gonna talk about them.
Arizona.
Okay. So round 32, we got Alabama versus West Virginia. I got Alabama. I think they're too good for West Virginia.
I'm going West Virginia here. Alabama struggled against Oklahoma in the Big 12. Alabama has a lot of chaos around this team, a lot of drama. Teams with drama I don't like. I think that they will deserve to lose, and they will lose to West Virginia here.
Hot take. But I think Brandon Miller and the rest of their, like Javon, Quinterly, everyone else, they're just too good for West Virginia, no matter how much drama they have going on. Next game, San Diego State, Virginia. I got Virginia. San Diego State, they always seem to choke, like in the round 64, round 32 games. And I don't think this is the year they get over that hump. So, Virginia.
Well, I have San Diego State, Furman, and for the same reasons you said, I'm going Furman here.
Furman is Sweet 16. Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay. Next team, I have Creighton upsetting Baylor. Creighton, they're a very good team, and Baylor, they're also a very good team. But Creighton, I think with Kalkbrenner, Nemhard, Paluma, they're a really good team, and it's gonna be hard to. They're fun. They're a fun sleeper pick.
Don't forget about Shireman and Trey Alexander. This team is excellent.
Yeah.
For me, I have them playing Santa Barbara. It's an easy win for Creighton here.
All right. Next, I got. Oh wait, well, it's between Utah State and Arizona. I got Arizona. They're too good for Utah.
I have Utah State. Another upset here. It's not funny. I'm telling you, there's upsets in March Madness. Arizona has had some games where they fall apart, notably against Oregon, I believe, and I don't remember the other. But Utah State's a team that I think could really shock them. Could shoot the ball well from three. I have Utah State here.
Interesting. Okay, Sweet 16. We got Alabama, Virginia. I'm going Alabama. Like I said, this team is definitely one of the favorites to win the tournament, and talent-wise, they're way too good. They're way better over Virginia.
So for me, it's a totally different matchup. I have West Virginia, Furman, and I'm going to go West Virginia.
Okay, fair take. I would take West Virginia over Furman as well. Next, I got Creighton versus Arizona. I'm going Arizona. I think that Creighton. I think Creighton, like obviously they're a very good team, but I think Arizona is just a little slightly better, and also Creighton, they never made it to the Elite Eight under Greg McDermott before, and it just feels like there's some teams that will never get over that hump, and it seems like they're one of them.
I think this is a special year for Creighton. Creighton's coming different this year. Greg McDermott's a tremendous coach. It's Creighton against Utah State for me, and I have Creighton.
Interesting. Okay, so we have different Elite Eights, obviously. I have Alabama and Arizona, the 1 and 2 seeds of the South. But I'm going Arizona. There's too much drama surrounding Alabama, like you said, and Arizona can compare very well to Alabama. And if Alabama star freshman should not be playing right now, Brandon Miller should not be playing right now, and a team like Alabama should not deserve to make it to the Final Four, nonetheless win a national championship. So they got bad juju on their side, so I'm going Arizona.
Absolutely. So for me, I have the 9 and the 6. I have West Virginia and Creighton, and I'm going to go Creighton because I said I really believe in this team.
Okay, so for the South region, we have Arizona, me personally, coming out of the South, and you have Creighton coming out of the South as a 6 seed.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to the East. We have number 1 seed, Purdue against Fairleigh Dickinson, who won today against Texas Southern. Yeah, I'm going Purdue. Not much to say there.
Purdue.
Okay. 8 and 9. The 8 seed Memphis, 9 seed Florida Atlantic. This is gonna be a very good game. Memphis obviously shocked Houston in the conference tournament title game, but Florida Atlantic is one of the best mid-major teams in the country, and they're the best in the Conference USA this year. They're the favorites. I predict them to win. Wait, they're not the favorites, but I predict them to win.
Oh, I think you're really wrong here. Memphis is a really good team. I don't think they shocked anyone. They did. It's an underdog when they beat Houston. They upset Houston, but they're not shocking me. Memphis is winning this game.
So next, ACC championship champions Duke 5 seed against Summit League champions Oral Roberts, who made a shock run to Sweet 16 a couple years ago as a 15 seed, and I think they're gonna make another run again. I'm predicting them to upset Duke. Max Abmas he's different.
Yeah, it's Oral Roberts' season. It's here. This is the game of the tournament. I'm going to say it. This is the game of the tournament. This game will decide so much. Easily the game of the round of 64. Oral Roberts is coming for you. Max Abmas is here. Vanover is tremendous. Oral Roberts it's not just Ace. When they made the run to the 16 a couple years ago, it was basically just Abmas and O'Banner. It's not the case this year. Abmas has a lot of supporting cast players, Vanover, and a ton of other players helping him out. It's Oral Roberts for me. They're coming. They're not a 12 seed. They're better than that.
He's a 7'5" guy, right? That can shoot.
Yeah, he is.
Also Duke, they were champions. They're peaking at the right time, but the ACC is not a good conference this year. And outside Filipowski and Roach, I don't know if the team's good enough to
It's a rough draw for Duke. I actually like Duke, but it's just a rough draw.
Yeah. Next I have Tennessee over Louisiana as a 13 seed. No, Tennessee's the 4 seed, and they're going to beat Louisiana, which is the 13 seed. Obviously, Sakai Ziegler's out for the year, big injury loss, but they're still going to beat Louisiana.
I have Louisiana here, so Ziegler's out for the year. Stop laughing. We're gonna watch upsets happen. Stop. People that predict 1 or 2 upsets in the whole tournament, they're just wrong. Upsets happen every year. Louisiana is going to shock Tennessee here. Tennessee's played very bad down the stretch. They have not been a good team. You got to be hot going into the tournament. Tennessee is not. Ziegler's out for the year. I have Louisiana here.
Okay, next I have the 6 seed Kentucky versus 11 seed Providence. I actually had a tough time predicting who's going to win, but I think Kentucky's talent is just too strong for me to bet against them. So I'm gonna go with Kentucky.
Kentucky started off the year really, really rough, but they have figured it out. I think they're a sneaky team going into this tournament. I have Kentucky.
All right, we're in agreement there. Let's start. Next I have Kansas State. Well, I have Kansas State, but they're playing Montana State. I have Kansas State.
K-State.
Okay. Next I have Michigan. I gotta stop saying. Next we have 7 seed Michigan State versus 10 seed USC. I have Michigan State.
Michigan State.
I've watched a lot of Michigan State. I'm high on them this tournament this year. So next we have number 2 seed Marquette, Big East champions, versus 15 seed Vermont, which is the American East champions. Who do you have, Sam?
I have Marquette. Marquette's looked really strong to me. Big East champions. They've played very well. Tyler Kolek is a legit player. I have Marquette.
For my biggest upset of the tournament, I have Vermont beating Marquette. Vermont makes the tournament almost every year at this point. They have to win at some point, right? And also, their offense has been so good over the past month or so. They're peaking at the right time, and I think they can catch fire to beat Marquette, which is all you need. Okay, so moving on to round 32, I have Purdue versus FAU. You have Purdue versus Memphis. But I'm going Purdue to beat FAU.
Big Ten teams, I've said, Big Ten teams do not do well in this tournament. Purdue has not looked like a strong team down the stretch. Even when they won the Big Ten tournament, they did not look strong to me. Memphis looks really good. I like Memphis to upset Purdue here.
Yeah, so Purdue, I feel like is a team that's going to make the Final Four or lose in the round 32, kind of team. There's no in between. So I have. So my next game on my bracket is Oral Roberts versus Tennessee. You have Oral Roberts and Louisiana, but I'm sure we're both in agreement here that Oral Roberts is going to make the Sweet 16.
Of course, it's Oral Roberts' season.
Yes, sir. Next game, we both have Kentucky and Kansas State as well. I'm going Kentucky.
Yes, I'm going Kentucky.
Yes, sir. And then next, I'm going. Well, it's Michigan State and Vermont for me. Michigan State and Marquette for you, but I'm going Michigan State.
Again, Big Ten teams struggle in the tournament. I'm going Marquette over Michigan State.
Okay. All right. Sweet 16. My matchup is Purdue versus Oral Roberts. I mean, Purdue is just much better than Oral Roberts at this point, so I'm going Purdue.
I have Memphis Oral Roberts, and I'm riding Oral Roberts. They made it to Sweet 16 2 years ago. They're going to do even better this year. They're coming for people. It's Elite Eight Oral Roberts season.
If Memphis beats Purdue and faces Oral Roberts, I'm going to go Oral Roberts as well. But they're not going to be. Purdue is not going to lose to Memphis. So, next, Kentucky versus Michigan State for me. I'm going Michigan State for Elite Eight. I've watched a lot of them this year. Their guard duo, Tyson Walker and AJ Hoggard, very underrated. And Joey Hauser makes every single three. I swear, he's so good. And Malik Hall is a great player off the bench as well. So I'm going Michigan State to beat Kentucky, and they're going to make the Elite Eight.
Michigan State's a good team, but so I have Kentucky Marquette, and I'm going to go Kentucky. I really like this team going into this tournament. I think they have a really good bracket set up for them. And Marquette's a team that it's a good team, but they're the type of team that I just feel like isn't going to be good enough.
Okay, Elite Eight. I have Purdue, Michigan State, battle of the Big Ten teams. I'm going Purdue. They're going to beat Michigan State. They're going to make the Final Four.
I have Oral Roberts in Kentucky, and I'm riding Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts to the Final Four, baby.
All right, that's hot take. That's hot take. Moving on to the Midwest region. Houston is the number 1 seed in this bracket. They're going to be facing Northern Kentucky. Houston, no discussion there.
Houston.
Okay, next, Iowa versus Auburn. I have Iowa personally. I think Keegan Murray is very good. And then they got Philip Rebraka. They got the McCaffrey. One of the McCaffreys can shoot the shit out of the ball. And Pat Sanford. Is that his name? Yeah, he's good as well.
I'm going to keep saying it. Big Ten teams really struggle in the tournament. I'm going to go Auburn here.
Interesting.
Even though I'm a Big Ten guy.
All right, next team, we got 5th seed Miami versus 12th seed Drake. It's not really an upset, but I'm going to go Drake to beat Miami. Miami's overrated.
I'm also going to go Drake. This is an upset for me. I actually struggled with this one. I almost picked Miami. I mean, Miami is the 5 seed. Miami's a good team, but I'm going to go Drake. They have a lot of experience.
Yeah, they have a really good team. Next I have next game, your school, number 4 seed Indiana Hoosiers versus 13 seed Kent State. I have Indiana, but a lot of people are gonna predict Kent State as an upset. But I think the duo of Trace Jackson Davis and Hushafino is gonna be too good.
A lot of people do. A lot of people are picking Kent State, and I'm getting a little nervous. But I'm riding Indiana because they really haven't. Indiana can struggle at times against teams at their ability, but against mid-major, against small school teams that really are going to have to play better than them, Indiana has proven that they're good enough to beat these teams. I believe in Indiana here against Kent State.
Also, I don't know much about Indiana's bench, but Trey Galloway cannot start. He's not. Trey Galloway is ass.
Trey Galloway is a very good player.
Every time I watch Indiana, Trey Galloway is not plays awful.
I'm sorry. Trey Galloway is actually a very good player. He actually he shoots, I think, over 40% from 3. His defense is tremendous. He brings a lot of energy. He's not going to be the player on the team, but Trey Galloway is an important player. He's a very important player for this team.
Every time I watch him.
Moving on. There's other players that I think play very bad for Indiana, but Trey Galloway is not.
Miller Cobb?
No, I like Miller Cobb. I think
who's the center?
Race Thompson. Race Thompson struggles at times. Race Thompson can be very sloppy. Recently, he's played a lot better, but he struggles at times. And Tamar Bates went 7 straight games without making a shot. He's one of the worst players on this team, but he did make a couple big shots against Penn State, but they still lost that game.
Okay, moving on to the next game. We have 6 seed Iowa State versus 11 seed Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh beating Mississippi State that was a great game. Mississippi State should have won that game. Should have made that 3, if not the tip-in. But I have Iowa State. They're gonna make it. They're gonna win.
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh here. Iowa State's a team I think is a little overrated. They do have good shooters. They're kind of just that weird team to me. I think Pittsburgh actually wins this game.
Okay. Next game, Xavier versus Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State. I'm picking them to be Xavier upset. They're just very experienced, very tight knit group. Xavier, I think, is overrated in my opinion.
I agree that Xavier is overrated, but I'm still going to have Xavier winning this game.
Interesting. Okay, next, Texas A&M versus Penn State. I had thought about this one a lot, but I'm going Texas A&M. They have a really good year overall in their conference. And Penn State, they're a dangerous team because they shoot so many threes and they shoot them so efficiently that they can get hot any time.
For sure, Penn State's a dangerous team. We saw that they beat Indiana. They definitely gave Purdue a run in the Big Ten championship game, but I think they've run out of gas. They're not good enough. I really like Texas A&M. They should not have been a 7 seed. They're better than a 7 seed, and I have them winning this game.
Next game, 2 seed Texas versus 15 seed Colgate. I'm going Texas.
Texas.
Okay. So my round 32, Houston versus Iowa. I'm going to Houston. I don't know how healthy Sasser is right now, which is going to be like a big influence on my decision.
I have Houston, Auburn, and I have Houston winning.
Okay. Next we have Drake versus Indiana. Both of us. I'm going Indiana.
Indiana.
So next I have Iowa State versus Kansas State. I'm going Iowa State to make it Sweet 16 again.
I have Pittsburgh versus Xavier, and I'm going to go Pittsburgh beats Xavier.
Interesting. There's always 1-11 seed that always makes a Sweet 16. I feel like, or they make some like run. Okay, so Sweet 16, Houston versus Indiana. Even if Marcus Sasser plays this game, I'm going Indiana.
Where we gotta go Texas A&M versus Texas.
Oh, my fault. I'm going Texas.
I'm actually gonna go Texas A&M here. I think this is gonna be a big upset. I really like Texas A&M. I think they're underrated. And between the two Texases, I think this is going to be a really huge game, really quality game, close game. But I'm going to go A&M.
Interesting. So, you already know my pick for next game: Houston versus Indiana. I'm going Indiana.
I'm actually also going to go Indiana. Indiana's actually played very well against top tier teams, against 1 seed teams. I mean, Purdue is a rival, so there's that incentive. But Indiana definitely plays up to top teams, and I think they're going to beat Houston here.
And then next game for me is Iowa State, Texas. I'm going Texas.
I have Pittsburgh versus Texas A&M. I really like Texas A&M. I'm going to pick them to beat Pittsburgh.
Okay, so Elite 8, Indiana versus Texas. I'm going Indiana, Final Four, baby. Go Hoosiers.
It's amazing you have Indiana going further than me. I love Indiana, but I've seen it. I've watched them the whole season really in-depthly. Indiana, after they beat really top teams, I think they're going to be very excited after they beat Houston. Everyone's going to be so crazy. Bloomington's going to go crazy. They really struggle in games after being a quality team. Over the course of the season, they've been extremely inconsistent. They can't validate wins. I think they're going to lose to Texas A&M here. I have A&M in the Final Four.
Damn, that's a hot take. That's a hot take. All right. Last we got the West region. 1 seed Kansas versus Howard. Going Kansas. No discussion there. Okay, next up Arkansas and Illinois. I'm going Arkansas. They have 2 lottery picks in their lineup. Arkansas.
Arkansas is a sneaky team. I have Arkansas winning.
Next game, St. Mary's versus VCU. I'm going VCU. St. Mary's just feels like a team that's going to lose in the first round, despite the good regular season that they had.
Absolutely feels like that type of team. St. Mary's is I'm seeing almost a lot of people are picking VCU. VCU is a team that really fired up. They're coming on. They have a lot to play for. You know, they didn't play in the tournament in the year where that COVID happened, so they have a lot of incentive here, a lot of incentive to win a game, and I think they will win a game at VCU.
Next, UConn versus Iona. I almost predicted Iona to upset UConn, but UConn is so underrated. They're a dark horse Final Four team, so I'm going UConn.
I have UConn here too.
Okay, next, Arizona State versus TCU. I'm going Arizona State.
I'm actually going TCU here. It is the 6th seed. I really like Arizona State. It's a very good team. I'm very happy they beat Nevada and get to play here. But I'm going TCU. I think they're a sneaky team here to watch.
I feel like there's too much drama going to TCU right now. I know their center Eddie Lampkin left the team and like blamed their head coach for like being racist and something like that. It's a lot of.
I didn't even know that, honestly. I might even change that actually means a lot to me. I might change my pick because of that. But for now, we're going TCU.
All right, next we got Gonzaga, Grand Canyon. I'm going Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Next, Northwestern versus Boise State. I'm going Boise State.
Boise State all day. Big Ten teams struggle.
Yes,
Boise State's a really good team.
Is there one Big Ten team that you like? Oh, Purdue. Okay, next UCLA. Next UCLA versus UNC Asheville. UCLA, no discussion there.
It's a discussion for me. It's UNC Asheville for me. 15 seed UNC Asheville. The last 2 seasons, you picked one too. The last 2 seasons, we had a 15 seed beat a 2. I think that's going to make 3 straight seasons. UNC Asheville is a sneaky team to watch. They have tremendous shooting, tremendous star player. UCLA is having some injury battles. This is Unk Asheville for me, baby. Unk,
bro, they're plus 17.5.
I don't care.
I'm gonna bet them to cover, I think, but to win, that's bold. That's bold. All right, next, Kansas versus Arkansas. I'm going Kansas. They're just too well-rounded, in my opinion.
Kansas is too good. I have Kansas winning.
Next, I have VCU versus UConn. We both do. I'm going UConn. I think they do very good.
UConn.
Okay, next, Arizona State for me and Gonzaga. I'm going Gonzaga.
I have TCU Gonzaga. I'm going to go Gonzaga.
And then next, I have Boise State, UCLA. I'm going UCLA. Despite all the injuries they have, Jalen Clark, very underrated player. He's going to out-miss the rest of the season. That's a big injury.
I have Boise State versus Unk Asheville, and I'm going Boise State. The 15, except for St. Peter's last year, 15 big upset teams usually struggle in the second game. I'm going Boise State here.
Okay, Kansas versus UConn in Sweet 16. I'm going Kansas. Too well-rounded. They're going to beat UConn.
Kansas is really good. I'm going Kansas here. Grady Dick, baby.
Grady Dick. 4-3. All right, next, Gonzaga versus UCLA for me. I feel like Jalen Clark's injury is too big to overcome. I know, and Gonzaga, they really peaked over the past month. Like Schroeder, Anson Watson, and Timmy, they are so good offensively. Defensively, they're still a big question mark, but their offense is going to be too good for UCLA's defense.
So I have Gonzaga, Boise State. I'm going to go Gonzaga too.
Okay, so we do have the same Elite Eight here. I'm going Kansas. They're too well-rounded. Gonzaga is very good offensively, but their defense is going to come back to bite them in this game.
Exactly. Kansas is excellent. I have Kansas.
Okay, so our Final Four. Let's just go over Final Fours. So my Final Four teams is Arizona, Purdue on the left side, and Indiana and Kansas on the right side.
So for me, I have Creighton, Oral Roberts, Texas A&M, and Kansas.
All right, let's start from the left side. Winner of the South region versus the winner of the East region, Arizona versus Purdue. I have Arizona. Ozores-Albright is one of the most underrated players in college basketball. Zach Edey, he's gonna win College Player of the Year. But Purdue's backcourt of Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, they have been playing so bad. Like recently, they're not good enough. They're not good enough of a backcourt for this team to be a national champion, in my opinion. Like Mason Gillis is a good player, but they're too reliant on Zach Edey, and that can only get you so far. And Ozores-Albright is too good.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's why I have Purdue losing to Memphis. But I have Creighton, Oral Roberts, and Oral Roberts. I love Oral Roberts. It's such a fun team. They're really not a 12 seed. They're much better than that. But Creighton can shoot with Oral Roberts. Creighton is such a good team this year. They're so good. Shireman from 3. Kaluma, Kalkbrenner in the paint. They're so good. I have Creighton beating Oral Roberts.
All right. So on the right side, we have the Midwest winner, Indiana, versus the West Region winner, Kansas. I'm going Kansas to go back to the national championship game. Unfortunately for your Hoosiers, but yeah, Kansas, they're too good. They're too well-rounded, in my opinion.
I mean, we saw a matchup of Kansas Indiana early in the season. Indiana got smacked. I think they lost by over 20. Of course, they got better over the season. Jalen Hood-Schifino got a lot better over the season. I think Indiana has the potential. They have the ability, the pure ability to beat any team. I don't even have them. I have them losing to A&M after beating Houston. But my matchup is A&M versus Kansas, and I have Kansas winning easily here. Kansas is just a ridiculously good team for me.
All right, so we both have Kansas in the finals. So my finals is Arizona versus Kansas, and as good as Ozores-Albright is, Kansas is too well-rounded. Jalen Wilson, one of the best players in college basketball. Grady Dick, top 10 pick in the next year's NBA draft. Grady Dick is the best shooter in college basketball. He is so fun to watch. And they got Dajuan Harris, who's like your scrappy point guard that you need for a national championship. He's going to be this year's Remy Martin. And yeah, Kansas is just too well-rounded. Ozores-Albright isn't good enough to carry this team to a national championship.
Well, so you mentioned...
I'm going Kansas basically to repeat as national champion, which is very hard to do, but this team is good enough, and they're gonna be the first team to repeat as a national champion since Florida did it in like 2006, 2007.
You're spot on. Repeating as national champions is so hard to do. You named all the tremendous players in Kansas: Grady Dick, Harris, everyone, and that is why They will be losing to Creighton. Creighton is a national winner. Creighton is winning the national championship this year. Natty Time, Creighton, Kaluma, Trey Alexander. They're knockdown shooters. They're elite players. Creighton is an elite team. They're special offensively. I think they can get it done defensively too. Kalkbrenner is going to show out. The player will be Trey Alexander. Nemhard is terrific. Shireman. Kaluma is special. This team all around, starting five, top to bottom. You compare them to other starting fives. They don't have one player that stands out. Any one of those 5 players, you can call a play for. They can make a play. It's not like you're looking at, you don't know who's going to make the play. Creighton all around, every one of those starting 5 is excellent. Creighton is my national champion.
I mean, Creighton, I really love them as a team. I can see that. I don't see that happening, but I can see them as a dark horse Final Four. Like, they have the talent to, like, you know, be a Final Four team. It just hasn't come all together yet. But, like, everyone's healthy now. Like, hopefully they all, you know, they can all ride that momentum like North Carolina did last year. So that's it for our bonus episode. I have Kansas. Sam has Creighton, the Creighton Blue Jays. And that's it for our bonus episode. Anything else to say, Sam?
That's it. I'm super excited. Starts up tomorrow. I'll be watching for sure. And upsets are fun. I'll be rooting for upsets all around.
All right. So thank you for listening to this episode. Hopefully our predictions come right because like we're never wrong. So if you're tailing our picks, let us know in the comments. And we'll see you next week on an update on our bracket because by the time we record next week, I think the Final Four will be settled. I think
we'll be around the Elite Eight.
Elite Eight?
Not sure.
No, I'm sure it's going to be Final Four, trust me. It's going to be... Oh, wait, we're recording on Monday, right? No, we're going to find out Sweet 16. So we will reevaluate from there. All right. Thank you for listening,
Keep
everyone.
humming, baby.
Keep humming.